Hello everyone, welcome to Pairfect, your go-to lifestyle show where we celebrate the brilliant minds shaping the spaces we live in and the communities behind them. I'm Dinah Ventura, and today we're joined by a visionary whose name has become synonymous with creativity, elegance, and purpose. She's the design force behind projects in Asiana City, El Nido, and the Forum in BGC, and was recently tapped for a special restoration effort at the historic La Peral Mansion. But beyond the aesthetics, her work tells a deeper story of mentorship, collaboration, and opening doors for countless others in the industry. Let's get to know the woman who builds not just spaces but opportunities. Please welcome interior designer Cecil Ravelas. Welcome to Pairfect again.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me again.
Yes, it's nice to see you and your red hair.
I know. It's
Your
still red.
trademark
My
signature.
trademark, yeah, it's
Diba?
me. And I started it.
Let's just get that
Oh,
straight.
I know. I claim it.
Yeah.
I really have been wearing my hair red for the longest time.
So very obviously you're an artistic person. So let's talk about how your journey in interior design began. So yes, and
Wow,
tell
haba
us
yun,
what
ah.
made you realize this was your calling.
Okay. Wow, long story. But anyway, I've always been into the arts. You know, even when I was a kid, I was already good at drawing. And then I used to do my dolls, my paper dolls.
Paper
And
doll.
I used to, I remember I would make elaborate costume for the paper dolls in
Wow.
2D. And it's like layered color crayon. But I caught it. And then it was encouraged in school, in elementary. I had a very good arts teacher.
What school again?
I started in OB Montessori, so
Okay.
preschool until
Yeah.
grade 3. And so the art teacher then, she was very progressive, so she was making me do stuffed toys.
Okay.
So I was really good with my hands. And then it progressed. So when I transferred school. I went to St. Paul,
Okay.
Pasig. My mom thought I was too, as a kid, I was earthy and boyish. So she goes, I think you should go to the girls' school. So I was sent to
St. Paul.
to St. Paul Pasig to study with the nuns. So to be more refined like her, because she was like really the perfect lady.
Okay.
And so in St. Paul, the nuns were also very encouraging. So we had, arts and crafts, homemakers. So we would do our own clothes. We would do our own bags. So I was good at that. In fact, in high school, I was like, I think in elementary, I was in the arts club. And then high school, I was also arts club and homemaker. So that has been really
Your
my
path.
constant. And then I remember for extra, even in grade school, for extra earning, I do name tags, like lettering name tags, and then cut it out, and then sell it to my classmates for 5 pesos. Grabe, diba? Extra, ano.
Very
So,
business mind. na rin.
business-minded na ako nun, parang I need extra money. So I
Use
would
your
do-
talent and
Oo,
skills.
use my talent. So,
Okay.
so that's how it started. And then in high school, 4th year, you choose your elective. So
Yes.
I was already into interior design and fashion design elective. So it was encouraged. So I was so set, I'm going to do interior design
Okay.
or fashion design.
That
But
was definite.
that was
like,
definitely clear to me. But, in Manila then, and my generation, being in the creative is not a serious, parang it's not a real profession. So it's not encouraged. And my
okay.
dad was like, a bit strict in the sense na, what's going to happen to you? There's no money there. Yung ganyan. So
your dad was what?
my dad is a businessman
Okay.
and very traditional in the sense. And then
He wanted you to be a doctor, siguro.
yeah, parang either you get into accounting, business,
Or
whatever, like
medicine.
because he's an accountant, business person. And then because I was good at math, so parang it was almost it was parang expected you get into a course
Yes.
that's something to do with math. So I applied in engineering in LaSalle and I got accepted. So I started
Okay.
in engineering. And
And what happened?
it's funny, but you know, even in high school, I was already active, you know, in student organization. And so when I got to LaSalle in engineering, I was immediately, you know, I was in student council. I was on the side. There's always extracurricular, but I was studying. But I remember my classmates in engineering. Wow, they're so studious. Like they'd have case studies. They're sleepover. Talagang they're like studying me. Oh, that's the number. Oh, sige, I'll study. And then, okay, I have to go. Where are you going? I have a meeting. And then you're not studying, we have exam. No, it's okay. Kasi for me, I need to understand the formula. And once I understand it, so what's important is I listen and I get it. Once I do it, I'll be able to do it na. So, I don't have to memorize. If I memorize kasi, I forget something, wala na.
Wala na.
So, ang yabang ko, ito na, first exam, diba? Oh, how come our exam is like 4 hours and just like 2 questions? Ganyan, yabang ko pa, diba? Kasi ako, shit, gone na ako. Eh, hindi ako nagme-memorize ng formula. Kailangan intindihin ko. So, derive ako. At the end of 4 hours, shit, nasa problem number 1. But, and then they were all, sabi ko, oh my God, wala. So, hindi ko natapos. And then, when the exams came, syempre, parang my score was like 46, ganyan, out of 100. Pero, pag sa engineering ka pala, normal yon. Kasi, some get 26, 25, yung ganyan. So, mataas pa pala yung ano. And then, my friend goes,
To think you didn't memorize anything.
yeah, sabi niya, how come you don't study? You're always in the org, you're partying, and you're getting
Good grades.
and I mean, well, not exactly good, but you passed the exam. Sabi ko, I don't know, I just listened. And then my teacher gave me, in that exam, my teacher gave me a good mark because the solution was correct. But the end value was wrong.
Okay.
My classmate who was beside me goes, ako naman tama naman yung end
value.
result ko bakit mababa grade ko? Eh kasi mali yung solution mo, halata nangongopya ka. So that was how it was. But to me, it was always academics.
So you finished engineering?
I didn't.
Okay.
Kasi, in the middle of it all, I was having nightmares now of giant numbers running after me. Sabi ko, shit, I can't go on na. So I told my dad, can I just like really shift to architecture? I said, kasi, pero I think when I was so drilled on the numbers, my right side of the brain is like
Dying.
repressed and dying. And like, I have to do something creative, ganyan. So finally, he agreed, sige, you shift. Kaya lang, I was in LaSalle and then I was trying to get into UP and UST. So parang the semestral calendar was different. So I said, okay, but the thing is, I don't want to do this na. So I found PSID, which is, I
Philippine
said,
School
okay,
of
yeah.
Interior
So I
Design.
said, I'll prepare myself for architecture. I'll take this
First.
interior design muna, diba, in PSID.
Yeah.
So I enrolled in PSID, and then I'm okay. I'm a selective learner eh. If the teacher is the most difficult and magaling, I'm interested. And then I'm magaling there. Competitive ako. Pero pag
Bored ka.
pag
you
bored na ako, and once I learn it,
won't.
ayoko na. Next. I'm always like that. So my attention
Until now.
Until now, parang pag nalaman ko na okay, next problem. So until it gets more challenging and more complicated. Madali ako magsawa.
But hindi ka nagsawa sa interior design.
Surprisingly, hindi.
Tinuloy mo yung PSID.
Oo, tinuloy ko yung PSID. And because after, it was a 2.5-year course, afterwards you do your student exhibit. And I was an officer. I was, again, part of the core group. And I was like, securing sponsorship for exhibits. So I knew all the company. And then, syempre, bebenta mo yung show mo, di ba?
Yes.
So we had our exhibit in Shangri-La Plaza Mall. So everybody who would come in, I'd entertain, ganyan. Until, there's this lady who came in, an old, frail lady. And I was assisting her, touring her about the show, ganyan. The end of the show, she goes, young lady, I know all of this. This product I know because I own the company. Oh, okay. What is your name? I said, And so I gave him,
Cecil.
give me your card. And then I'll have someone call you tomorrow. And
So
then,
that was your first client.
that was my first client. That turned out to be Mrs. Regina Coseteng, who owns Mariwasa Tayo. So I said, oh my God, the frail lady I was assisting turned out to be a dragon lady. But, you know, after so many years,
So, ano
so
yung
she
takeaway
gave me
mo
the
doon?
first,
Like, what was that? What did that
you
teach
know,
you
to
about
this
your work?
day, even with my team or with my staff, I would always tell them, you know, you really, whoever you meet, you really have to treat them well. Be
I agree.
sincere, be kind. You don't judge, you know,
Don't judge.
don't judge. Just be, ano. And then,
Be
I guess
nice.
she saw I was sincere. I was assisting her and all. And then I didn't know.
She was.
Yeah, so she gave me
That's so funny.
the first break.
Mm.
And of course, it was disastrous. So she asked me to do the exhibit for the World Trade Center. They had 12 booths. Wow, it's huge. And you know, of course, you never work. You know, as a student, fresh graduate,
Wala pang work
wala ka pang skill.
experience.
Parang you have all these bright ideas, but of course, actual construction, parang that's not how I envisioned it, di ba? So I was crying na and all. But anyway, they were very supportive of me. And, you know, we opened and it turned out well naman. But in my head, oh my God, this is the first and last project. But, you know, it was never, you know, after that, there were more. I did showrooms for them. So for the time, I was
so
like
they were
doing
happy
retail.
with-
I was thinking she gave me a chance,
Ang
diba?
galing,
And
ang
then,
galing, oo.
and then eventually even now, I'm still friends with them.
Oh,
So,
the Mariwasa people.
yeah, I'm parang kang doctor eh. Parang I'm still friends with her, with the daughter. So you grow with them.
Nice.
And then afterwards, so ang galing ko mag-tile. Kaya magaling ako mag-tile pattern ganyan. But afterwards, I said, okay, I need something. You know, you get sawa.
Yeah.
Ay, masawain nga. So I need something new. And career-wise, I have to evolve. So I got, and I was going to prepare for the board exam. Because
Okay.
on top of that project, there were other projects that were coming in. So I started doing freelance. So I decided, okay, I'm not going to architecture anymore because I have work. Ganyan.
Yeah,
So
you're earning.
I'm earning. And then there was a consortium between Benilde and PSID wherein I can earn my degree. So I opted for that.
Okay.
So I'm a first graduate of the consortium.
Nice.
And then I did that because I have to earn my license so I can do more work. And I was thinking I could aim for the bigger jobs.
Right.
And so I went to Benilde, but
And-
I was working. So
But you could earn that,
yeah, so I was like,
degree.
you know, I cannot. I'm multitasker. In fact, my dad never allowed me to drive because he said, you're
mind
you're
is
always
somewhere else."
your mind is always flying. You're always daydreaming. You're always multitasking. You cannot focus. Sabi niya ganon. So yeah. So I was in Benilde. Of course, I'm like I do all my gen ed, and then on the side I was doing my
Jobs.
job. So I was doing parties, event styling. For the time I was doing Christmas decors.
Yeah.
Nauso yun eh. So
Yeah.
it started with a tita, with a neighbor, and I was like getting paid 10,000 pesos
Per house.
per house. That's big at the
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
And my competition, the only one who's doing it then on the side was Designer Bloom.
Yeah.
And of course, they're charging 20,000. So, syempre ako,
Sa'yo na.
ako na yung half, di ba?
Anyway, sige. Let's talk more about that after a
Okay.
short break.
Okay. Daldal ko, no?
And this break is brought to you by Meralco, ang liwanag ng bukas. SM, we've got it all for you. Union Bank, it starts with you.
Usapang OFW is the show that honors the journeys of our modern-day heroes, our OFWs. Join Chingmi Fernandez, John Dodson, and Rafi Ayang every Tuesday and Thursday at 3 p.m. to hear the real stories behind the sacrifices. Watch it live on Daily Tribune's Facebook page, Tribune now on YouTube, and Daily Tribune Official on TikTok.
Want to hear from thought leaders shaping our world? Straight Talk with Chito Lazada and Ted Montelibano dives into leadership, politics, and business every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Catch conversation live on Daily Tribune's Facebook page, Tribune now on YouTube, and Daily Tribune Official on TikTok. Ready for the hot takes of today's biggest issues? Hot Patatas with Vernon Velasco and Carl Magadia delivers the news that matters. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 3 p.m. Tune in live on Daily Tribune's Facebook page, Tribune now on YouTube, and Daily Tribune Official on TikTok, where the real talk happens.
Welcome back to Pairfect. We're still here with Cecil Ravelas. So, we were talking about your journey into this big-time designer, diba? Okay, so your first project came from a chance encounter with your
Yeah.
client, diba? What other milestones happened that led you to where you are now?
After that, well, because I was going to earn my degree, so I decided I should work for a firm.
Okay.
And so, at the time, this is like late 90s, Raymond Gutierrez of the Sari Group was like parang the hottest designer in Manila. I said, oh, I'm going to work for this guy. Because he was doing the, I don't know if you remember Fashion Cafe.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so you know the nice projects in Manila. So I went up to his office and I said, I want to work for you. And at the time, there's this girl, my boss, who's now my sister, my best friend. She hired me because she was about to leave for Europe. I said, okay, you're exactly what we're looking for.
Wow.
So I got hired right there and then.
Ang galing.
Oh, grabe. Nagdala lang ako ng resume. Tapos, oh, sige, you're hired na. Yun pala, after so many, kasi nagmamadali na siya, desperate na siya, paalis na siya, kailangan ng junior designer.
Parang you were led to that.
I'm
lang,
always
ano?
like that. Oo.
Galing.
It's that's how, to me, I consider that as a blessing.
Serendipitous.
Serendipitous. Everything in my life, I don't follow a straight path.
Okay.
My life is very colorful, but it's always led, I'm always led from one phase to another. My dad, I made him crazy by thinking na I'm not following the right path. Because I don't do 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
And yun na nga, biglang I said, okay, I'm going to work for you. So I work for Raymond. We were doing luxury residences for like the celebrities, for Societies of Manila. And I remember getting paid 5,000 pesos at that time, junior designer. And then, of course, I come from the South. I live in Alabang. My dad goes,
Mas mahal pa yung
mas
ano mo,
mahal pa
transport.
yung bayad
gas.
sa driver, yung whatever. Sabi ko, I wanna do this, no? Sabi niya, I'm lugi with you, ganyan. And then, I always felt, sabi niya, I wanted to pursue further studies in New York at the time. But in his mind, because nga I'm so energetic and always on the go, he was thinking, nako, if I send you out, all the more that parang baka kung saan nila ako makuha, diba? So I was not allowed to go out of Manila, comforts of Manila. So after Raymond, I took the board exam. Yabang ko rin, diba? Kasi some people, they'll really quit and do full review.
Okay.
Ako hindi, I can do it. Kasi
While working.
So, wow, I'm working. And then I attend my review class in Assumption. And then, at the time, Skyway was being built, so the traffic from Alabang to Assumption was like so bad.
Horrible.
And of course, I was doing our house. I was renovating our house. And of course, the most challenging project you can do is work with your family.
Yeah.
So, it's so stressful to a point when I was taking the board exam, shit, I don't think I'm going to pass. Kasi parang I felt unprepared. And, kasi nga, by the time I get to my review class, I'm just so tired. I'm not focused. And I have selective,
Learning.
And I have very, very short attention span. So parang by the time I'm in the middle, in the evening class, wala na, my mind is flying. But I took the board pa rin because I said, no, I have to take the board because I want to practice now. You know, I was so lucky. Because, and then my weakest point was drafting.
Oh.
Because
That's part of the board exam.
yeah, because there's no CAD din eh. Everything's manual,
Yes.
manual drafting and rendering. And I'm not a fast drafter. In fact, even in engineering before, I get away by paying my classmates who graduated from Don Bosco. Actually, I wasn't charged pala kasi I'll charm them. I'll make them think, can you do my plate? But my other classmate, they charge. Pag ako, libre, di ba? So, my drafting skills were never
honed.
Kasi lagi kong pinagagawa na parang someone will do it for me. I charm them and then they do it for me. So, shock talaga. But anyway, in the board exam, 3-day board exam. You know, there was this girl in front of me. I don't know her, but she became my marker. Because I wasn't concerned on the objectives because I knew I do well, but the drafting was talaga my weakest link. But I saw her, wow, she's like doing na 3 sheets yung gagawin namin eh. So parang I don't remember what our problem was, but I saw her drafting, she's rendering na. So parang, oh my God, she's rendering na, I should render na, ganyan. So, you know, I finished my plate, the drafting and the rendering because of her, because oh my God, she's rendering na. I have to render na. So,
you were taking
by
the
5
cue
o'clock,
from
I was
her.
taking the cue from her. By 5 o'clock, I was done. I submitted it. So I said, oh, I finished the plate. I was so happy. Kasi if you don't finish the plate,
You won't
automatic
pass.
it's set aside eh. And it doesn't get graded.
Okay, so that was a lucky.
Yeah, so but
break.
then I guess I did well and I passed the exam. Then I remember the school was hoping I'd place. Me naman, I don't care.
Yeah, I just want to pass.
I just want to get my license because I wanted to start doing my big project. And then so that's how it came about.
You got your license.
I got my license. So when I had my license na, I was doing more work. So residential and all. And
What was
then
your first big?
but in parallel, okay, step back a bit because nga when I was a student in LaSalle and also in Benilde, I'm an active student leader.
Yeah.
So I was in a student org for training, student leadership. And because of that, I was getting recognized by the administration and by the brothers. Kasi I was like fighting I was advocating for something or whatever. And I remember Brother Andrew Gonzalez tagged me to be a rebel rouser. Kasi parang I'm always countering something, di ba? And my dad always felt na, hindi ka, even in fact, step back a bit, hindi ka pwede mag-UP kasi baka maging aktivista talaga.
Definitely, for sure.
Oo, for sure, talaga. So, nandun sa Benilde ako ganyan din. So, the girl who's always fighting for something, the girl who's running around in between academics and then I was part of the artistic company. I'd hang out with the singing group. So I was like always doing a lot of things.
Something. Oh.
I cannot stay put and do just one thing. So I'm a very good multitasker. Okay, and I perfected that to this day. So the brother, at a certain point, someone from the administration invited me to teach in Benilde.
Okay. So those were the years na.
Those were the years na I'm so energetic and I'm like always into something. And then, so they asked me to teach and eventually to handle interior design program.
Okay.
The consortium between PSID and Benilde.
Okay.
So, I became the department coordinator and I didn't ask for it but I was enjoying. Me kasi, once I do something, I put my heart into it and because I like it so much,
Then
it's done well. Ganyan. I'm such a perfect, I don't compete with other people, I just compete with myself. And parang I'm a workaholic in the sense na I stay up late basta to perfect
Talagang
something.
full on.
Full on talaga. Basta gusto ko. Yan. Anything yan. Work, relationship. Basta 100% I give you
All
everything.
out.
All out. Pag nagsawa na ako, okay, bye. So
you
yeah,
were
so I did
teaching,
well. I
you
was
were
teaching. And then because I was doing well for handling the program, eventually I was given another task as a program coordinator for the Culture and Arts program.
Yeah.
So, it used to be a small unit, Visual and Performing Arts unit.
Okay.
And what does it handle? Well, basically the dance group, the chorale. But in parallel, at that time, Benil was growing, and
Sports.
we were building the School of Design and Arts building.
Yan.
And I was in the middle of it all. So I was part of the conceptualization from the academics. And then I was also doing this visual performing arts. You know, I always felt that, I don't know why, but my heart is always for the artists, for the creatives. And I always felt, I remember telling the brothers, how come the school is spending so much money? Because I was also in the alumni. Di ba namin ko, Ari? I was in the alumni chapter. I became president of the LSAA. And then, I said, how come we're spending so much money or giving scholarship grants to the athletes? And yet, you know, there are other ways to help, you know, to give academic opportunities. So when I was in the artist program, I proposed why don't we do scholarship for the artists? One, we're positioning ourselves to be the creative school, and School of Design and Arts were happening. So why don't we attract the talent?
That's a great idea. Actually.
Diba? And then at the same time, in my mind, I was giving these very good dancers from Iloilo. For a time, we were recruiting na from Iloilo, from this ballet school, from Bacolod, yung talagang from Cavite. We were recruiting the best dancers from high school. So you get to come into Benilde. There's a talent test and academics. But I said, I don't believe that you cannot be academically adept. Kasi there was a misconception din na pag artist ka, pag creative ka, hindi ka magaling sa math, hindi ka magaling sa English, sa ibang courses. So parang ang standards before, ang bobo mo. You know, you're not so great kasi for the arts ka lang. Parang arts ka lang. Parang, and I refuse to believe that. So, when
nilabanan mo na naman.
Nilabanan ko na naman yun. Ay, lagi ako nilalabanan, di ba? So, I refuse to believe that. I said, no, we're going to create this scholarship program. And the students who come in will maintain a grade point average. They can choose whatever academic program they want to get into. But at the same time, in the evening, I created training programs. If you're a dancer, you'll have dance classes. If you're a coro member, then you'll have voice training. So I created that program. So from the small visual performing arts unit, it became a big culture and arts program. And this was happening when SDA was happening. And I remember my boss, again, was saying, why do we need to keep this program? Why do we need to keep funding this when there's going to be School of Design and Arts? And in my mind, are you kidding me? Kasi in my mind, if you kill the artist, to me talaga to this day, the society becomes dead. So I said, okay, let's reposition the program. We will produce shows that will not just promote the school, but also promote a certain advocacy. So it has to be socially, culturally oriented.
Nice.
So there has to be meaning. So it's not just performing. There has to be an issue. There has, you know, and it ranges from environmental issues to things that is wrong. You know, in other words,
society issues.
what can we contribute to the society for it to be a better community? And so I did that, and I became so focused on that. But we became a culture and arts office. We established several professional companies. I was able to create a season for the school. So on summer program, summer there will be like intensive training. But the rest of the school year there are regular trainings, but there will be recitals. So summer there's a recital, and then every quarter, because it's trimester, there will be a grand show. So Of course, funding na naman yan, di ba? So, magaling akong manghingi. Di ba? So I was doing the programming, I was the overall, and then at the same time, pag wala kang budget for costume, a designer, o sige ako na magde-design. You know, it was, but because I wanted it to work. And it did. And I don't say no, I don't take no for an answer eh. So, initially, my boss didn't agree, my immediate boss. Yabang ko, di ba? So, I went up to the next level. I appealed to the EVP. Can you imagine, di ba? Then, I appealed to the brothers. So, I would rally people until my immediate boss couldn't do anything because I got all these people to get
To
in.
support.
But, you know, that program ran for so long and I got to know so many talented people. Some of them are still my friends. Some of them are still in touch with me. They consider me their mom. I have so many adopted kids. And I hear their story. So I knew how it was. I was accompanying the scholars. I was also accompanying the parents because I had one case. The son was very talented, singer, composer, but the father's a banker and doesn't understand
That passion.
the son, that passion. So I was the conduit. I was accompanying them both, and I was so happy they found midpoint, and then they turned out well. The son was allowed to pursue the music program. I think it's something I knew because nga
Ganun
I
ka
was
rin.
ganun din
You
ako
went through the same thing
I went through that path na ang daming bawal, hindi pwede to, but I push. So I knew what these kids were going through.
So that's why
These scholars were going through. So I had dancers from Iloilo. So I lobbied for dormitories. And we got it. We really got it. And then when, you know, the school didn't have the budget, I'll get donors from outside. You know, I even took MBA. I didn't finish it, but I enrolled myself in MBA simply because I wanted to learn the language of business so that when I propose
to
the program to kasi sino bang mga funders, syempre businessmen, I can use the language. So that's why I got into MBA. It's not because I wanted to be like my dad who's like a successful businessman. But when I was getting into MBA, wow, parang in his mind, oh my God, finally you're thinking straight, diba? But
Cecil, I mean, I'm listening to you and you're really so passionate. It seems to me that part of your life really made you so fulfilled and happy.
yes.
But then you had to go and get other jobs. Like,
Yes.
you know,
Oo,
bigger
because I have-
projects.
Yes, because I have to
How did
sustain myself.
Yeah. How did you get
Okay,
into that? And
because-
what were your biggest ones?
Yes,
to
because
share with us.
because part of it was because I was pursuing things on my own. At a certain point, ang yabang ko, di ba? I told my dad, okay, you don't want to support my dream, I'm going to be on my own. so
Yan
I
kasi
really,
Alice eh.
grabe. So I really carved my path. And what was my next big? Okay. So we were doing the SDA building, and I was working with Ed Kama on that one, in parallel with all this program. But it took so much from me. That after the it's like giving birth. So when the building came out, oh my God, okay, I'm done. I don't want to do anything anymore. In Benilde, I quit. In fact, the brother president asked me, "Can you stay for another year?"
No more.
I did for 1 year, but I know it eh. When I'm dying inside na and I'm unhappy, I become unproductive.
Disinterested,
I know instinctively I have to shift. So without a plan, I'd shift. Ganyan. So I said, okay, I'm sorry, I'm going to quit. Without me knowing what I'm going to do next. Diba? But I did. And then, so when we were doing that building, a family friend was assisting me, was advising me because, you know, that project, I call it the fountainhead of Ed because it's not a traditional building. It's a skewed building. So design, engineering, budget, it was so challenging that again, it really took so much from me, and yet I was trying to learn all the skills immediately. So in that process, I was meeting people who were accompanying me and teaching me, mentoring me. And so there was this family friend who was mentoring me on project management because, you know, it turned out that project was so challenging, nobody wanted to touch it, but I had to finish it. So it fell into my lap to deliver it. And so after the project, when it got built, I said, okay, I don't want anything more. So this family friend who was mentoring me said, why don't you work for me? I said,
Where?
what will I do? I said, but I'm not an engineer. So it's a project management firm, but I'm not an engineer. Okay, no, but I know I like how you think and I like how you work. And there's this project I want you to do. So I got into that firm. It's a project management firm. And at the time, that was when all the hotels and the casinos were happening in the country.
Okay.
So even in that company, I was like parang a misfit, a weird misfit because of course everybody, I was working with the directors who were all, you know, construction is a man's world. And
Definitely.
yeah, and then I'm working with the men, with boys. I call them, ay nako. And then I'm always the mataray one. I'm always the one pushing, ganyan. If there's a problematic employee, it gets sent to me. And then I said, what's wrong with it? And then I would be the one firing. I would be the one shaping them.
Yeah.
And then all the difficult projects fell into my lap.
Okay.
I guess because I was doing well. And because nga I love challenges.
Kaya mo eh.
Oo, kaya ko. And then, until, my acronym was like is CPR. For the time on site, they will refer to it kasi I will always resuscitate daw the project. So parang I earned that,
I think I see now na yan talaga yung path.
Oo, parang I always turn around things.
Yeah,
I make the impossible happen. And I enjoy it. And parang yun nga, it's a level na you always,
surpass.
you know, you've done this, okay, move to the next one. Until it reached the point, okay, so when all the casinos were putting up, I got involved in all of them. And of course, I was either always on the plane, on the job site, you know, and I wasn't sleeping anymore because I was dealing with foreign consultants and I would do evening meetings with them because of the time frame. And then during daytime, I would still do meetings here and then I will be on site.
Wala talagang tulog.
Oh, wala lang tulog. Talagang, oh my God. It reached a point na I was
burnout.
like burnt out talaga. And the one who recruited me, it was also a turning point. He died, you know, because he was a mentor to me. And I shared his passion, his belief. So when he passed away, parang ako rin nawalan ng mentor. Parang ganyan. But anyway, I stayed on in the company, work with the son. I think I stayed for another year or two. And because I was in the middle of all this difficult project, challenging project. I couldn't leave. But at a certain point, I said, okay, I'm done. I'm done with this industry, with this job. And then parang in my mind, I want to go back to creative work. So, but before going back to my creative work, kasi nga parang left and right side ako eh. So, project management is all about engineering, you know, in engineering and management. But I think because I'm also creative, I was able to execute design projects within the vision of the architect, meeting all these criteria. Kasi if it's just a regular engineer or project manager to do it, mawawala na yung creative ano. So,
ang galing pala.
Parang
You're
there
like
was really something different I was bringing into the table.
Not usual, not the
Oo,
usual.
parang I'm really, a friend was saying, meron ka talagang ano, nasayad ka talaga. Parang hindi ka normal. So, special child ka talaga. Yun ang tawag nila sa akin, special child.
On that note, Cecil, we really have to wrap up.
Sorry, daming kwento, ano.
Ang saya, actually.
But after nun, I guess, when I quit, that's when my company started.
The red.
Because
Red.
because I quit and then I was thinking, what will I do? I'm going abroad, ganyan. And then, the clients, my clients from that previous company started saying, "What are you doing? What are you doing?"
Hinanap ka nila.
Hinanap nila ako. And then, can you do this? Until there was enough project that for me to put up a firm of my own.
Okay.
That's how I started. And then,
That was in what year?
10 years,
10
12
years
years ago now.
Okay.
So, and now, 12 years ago, 12 years after, my company is still there. Thriving and doing the craziest project. To this day, parang I like the challenge, so I get involved in the most unusual projects. But for some reason, it really falls into my lap lang. I don't look for them.
That's
They
your
just look for
niche.
me. That's my niche. So parang it became my niche, and to me now, I want it to be intentional, and I keep on. I guess it comes with age.
Yeah.
Parang it's not just
Purpose
about
and meaning.
parang it cannot be just like doing creative or design work. It has to be life-changing. It has to be transformative. And it goes back to when I was a student and I was doing all this work with the scholars, and I saw how their life is. And those works and the outreach I was doing, those were, I call them works, food for the soul. So I said, for that I was thinking, how can I integrate making money and food for the soul? And so that's what I'm trying to do now. So even with the company I have, I try to work with, my friends would go, where do you recruit your staff? I said, I recruit from outside, because I also find scholars. I still work with the scholars. I still want to give opportunity to those who...
Naiiyak na ako sa'yo.
Iyak ka na. Ganun. Parang, I guess it's normal. But,
it's not normal.
I don't know why. But, I think it's also my dad's influence. My dad was like a community worker. But I realized that was an influence, the influence of the nun. I don't know. But to me, it's really working with the community. Parang all of the things that we should be doing should be purposeful. And it should be changing.
Yeah, please
it should be
give that message to our viewers about,
I know,
finding your purpose.
yes, finding, and at this point, this is what I'm always saying now. We have to find your voice. We have to find our own voice. It takes time, but you have to be brave enough to find your voice and to be authentic. And also, make your mark, own it, and make your work purposeful, meaning it's just not just about you. We're living in a community. There are so many issues. I don't want to change the entire world, but with the little
Within your
community
sphere,
I'm working with, I want to make a difference. And I always share this with people. Sometimes the little things that we do create ripples, and that ripple becomes a huge wave. You just have to keep pushing. Sometimes, of course, I get frustrated. But when I'm in that point, someone will come and re-energize me. And then, oh my God, I want to do that again. So like, there's always an angel coming.
Yeah.
But to me, I think that's the story of my life.
I
don't know if I make sense, but
Makes
to me,
perfect sense to me.
it's always about finding your purpose and making sure that you're pursuing something that you really, really love.
And believe in.
And fight for it. And then you can really make a difference in the community and the people around you.
Cecil, I learned so much from you today. I mean, like looking at you with your red hair and your passion. Thank you for
Thank you.
sharing your story. Thank you for joining us today on Pairfect. It's your story is such a masterclass in how passion, purpose, and persistence can shape not only beautiful spaces but meaningful lives. So, from your eye for design to your heart for the people, it's clear that your legacy goes far beyond the buildings that you create. To our viewers, we hope you're inspired by Cecil's journey and reminder that true design is as much about impact as it is about beauty. This has been Pairfect, and I'm Dinah Ventura. See you in the next episode.
Isang magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. Nandito po uli ang inyong lingkod. Ako po si Manong Joe para sagutin ang inyong mga katanungan. May tanong si netizen Menandro Rodriguez tungkol sa rates ng Meralco ngayong buwan ng Mayo. Hindi ba usually tumataas ang rate kapag summer? Bakit ngayon bumaba? Anya? Kapag dry season na pumapatak sa mga buwan ng Marso hanggang Mayo, malaki ang posibilidad na tumaas ang bill dahil sa seasonality of consumption. Pero ngayong buwan ng Mayo, bumaba ng halos 75 centavos per kilowatt hour ang singil sa kuryente. Ibig sabihin, ang pamilyang kumukonsumo ng 200 kilowatt hours kada buwan hanggang 500 kilowatt hours kada buwan ay makakatipid ng mula 150 hanggang 375 pesos sa kanilang bill. Dalawa ang dahilan ng bawas singil ngayong buwan. Una, dahil sa mas mababang generation charge dahil sa bawas singil mula sa Wholesale Electricity Spot Market o WESM at independent power producers. Pangalawa, bumaba rin ang transmission charge na binabayad sa National Grid Corporation dahil naman sa decrease sa ancillary charges. Sana ay naliwanagan kayo sa explanation na ito kung bakit bumaba ang singil sa kuryente ngayong Mayo. Para sa iba pang katanungan, Ask Manong Joe lang hanggang sa muli.